Yeah, first, thank you again. Thank you very much, both of you, to be in this interview today. And my first question is just if both of you can introduce yourself, just like a few words about yourself. Maybe Sophia, if you want to begin.
Yeah, okay, so hi, my name is Sophia Lopez. I live in the US, so in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to be a junior this year, and my work in environmental work has been mostly centered around solar tech um, and innovating like efficiency and things like that.
I'm Adiola. I also live in Vegas in the United States. And my work has currently been, I was doing cellular agriculture most recently, but I'm starting to move on to solar tech as well. And I'm also 15.
So you are both part of the Knowledge Society. Can you tell us a bit more about what is this network? What is this initiative? And when did you join? Why and why?
I
Maybe.
think like a good way to explain it is we call it Olympic level training for the innovators of the future. So teens, just like Adele and I, are put through a program where you learn about mindsets, emerging technologies, skill sets that are actually useful in the real world, and you work on real projects, and you kind of just develop yourself not only as a person but also as an innovator. The reason I joined is just I'm really ambitious. I like to do everything. And I had always been interested in like the politics of green tech. And so I was like, wow, I could actually be on the science side too. So that's kind of why I jumped into TKS.
Can you highlight maybe one or two projects or articles that you've already written? And at the same time, what was the most like fun part of this project? Did you, as you say, it's a network. So what was the fun part of collaborating with other people, interviewing people? So you can highlight one or two projects that can also influence our audience today.
So my first project was one where I talked about this really obscure type of a solar concentrator. So it's called the Fresnel lens. And I had a lot of fun working on these articles because at that time I was the only one working on solar tech in TKS. So the fact that I could like expose everyone to this thing that could increase efficiency by like 30% is crazy, and everyone was jaws were on the floor, and I just read a few papers. So the fact that I could translate some knowledge to other people through that project, that was probably my favorite.
The first project I did was it was actually it's not the first project, but one of my most favorite. Actually, like I mentioned earlier, was about cellular agriculture. And what I wrote an article basically talking about like how cellular agriculture works and the kind of effect it could have on our environment. And I guess I did it with another friend. And I guess my favorite part about that was finding ways that I could help, like turning this information into action items that I could give other people so that they can actually start doing little things that'll actually make an impact.
But what are the steps or the process to research? Because it's also, I read some of your article, it's really detailed with some graphs. What are your process of researching and to finally arrive to have a really good quality article?
Definitely not like just one magic trick. There's a few in our sleeves. So first you use first orders thinking, or first principles thinking, excuse me, where you just break down the problem to the very, very bottom of it. And then you slowly work up from there. But on top of that, you have to create a network, right? So learning about a problem isn't just reading papers or reading other people's articles. It's actually getting to know the people in the field, right? So you have to make connections with people in the field, which seems really scary, like especially as a kid. But like cold calls, cold emails are essential to learning as much as you can about a field and about a tech. Probably getting feedback is the last important magic trick. Like you can never get better if no one tells you what you're doing wrong.
One thing I do is, so for myself, before I start researching anything, I write down all the questions I have about it, because when I write my article, I want to make sure that I'm addressing everything. So like I'll write down, okay, like for example, my cellular agriculture article, I write down like, okay, what is cellular agriculture? How does it work? Why do I need to care? What's the impact? All that stuff, you know? So when I write that down, when I look back after I've written the article, like the first draft, and I'm editing it, I can see whether or not I answered those questions, because then I know like anyone else who's like me or anyone else like, you know, around my age would like to see if they would understand it as well.
I must remember that you are really young, and really young, and do you think that it's especially young people that that need a voice to be heard in climate change? And Sophia, I heard one of your, and Adela also, like talking about changing the system, making like a climate revolution. Do you think we need more Greta Thunberg in our world, and that we can all be young people as Greta Thunberg and have also a great impact?
Definitely. I think young people are the key because we're the generation who's actually going to feel this. Like people, our parents and their parents, they're not going to go through the same climate effects that we are going through, right? So if we, instead of accepting the fact that as we grow up our world will die, we fight that. We start a climate revolution. Yeah. And we unlock doors that couldn't be unlocked by our parents or our grandparents. That'll help like slow down like our world's exponential decrease. Those are the words I'm looking for. Yeah.
Maybe I think the second key is also high technology, because young people, they have grown up, like everyone now has a smartphone, and we've known for all our life internet and everything. And do you think that the other key would be also high technology, and youth and high technology are basically two keys that goes together for climate action?
Definitely. High technology has been like at Ella and I's lives. Like we've grown up with the evolution of the iPhone. So why can't we continue growing up with the switch from oil?
And I just have a small, not a small because it's a big question. Last question. What would be your final message to our young audience and our young reporter for the environment about fighting climate change and making their voice heard?
So there's a lot I want to say, but I think the first part is like being within yourself, just being ambitious and curious. So if you really want to make an impact in climate, in the whether it's the science of it or the politics of it, you have to first be really ambitious with your goals. You have to know what you want and go get it, but you also have to be flexible enough to change that goal, right? Because in a space where high technology is all the rage, you have to be ready for every change that's going to come your way, and you have to be ready to tackle every new problem that's going to come your way.
For me, I would say it all starts really small. I think like what you may think is like, oh, turning off the light for, you know, a couple more minutes every day isn't going to make an impact. But when you calculate it and if you keep doing that, it will make an impact. So if you really want to exhibit a change in this world, and if you really want to try and do something, one, I think just start small, like research, go on the internet, find the small things that you can do that will eventually add up. And then once you're doing it, encourage your family and your friends to do it.
Definitely. I think your two answers are different, but they complete each other. Like, we are ambitious, but we also take action on smaller and level and scale. And it all begins in our community, but we are young and we can also have better ambition, because also we need big ambitions to reach the goals that climate change is challenging us.